Hello and welcome to my channel. Bogdan #7.
Bruh. Welcome to 1984. Formula One is flourishing as it starts its 35th season. In the past few years, teams have changed the ranking over and over again, and they will continue to do so this season too. It is a season that starts with changes. Prost moved back to McLaren and Warwick replaced him at Renault, where he would be alongside Tambay, replaced by Alboreto at Ferrari. Refueling stops are banned, and with the help of some new rules, the grid is shaken up. De Angelis' Lotus takes pole at the first race of 16 in Brazil. Alboreto takes an early lead but then spins, letting Lauda lead, but he also retires, this time with electrical problems. Prost wins from Rosberg, De Angelis, Shiver, Brundle, who along with Tyrrell would later be disqualified from the whole season, Tambay and Boutsen. In South Africa, reigning champion Piquet takes pole, but it eventually turns out to be a McLaren 1-2, Lauda ahead of Prost. Behind came Warwick, Patrese de Cesaris, and the young rookie named Ayrton Senna. Up next came the Belgian Grand Prix, back at Zolder, where Alboreto took pole. He eventually won from Warwick, Arnoux, Rosberg, De Angelis, and Senna. At Imola, Piquet was back on pole, but his turbo gave up during the race, letting Prost win from Arnoux, De Angelis, Warwick, Boutsen, and De Cesaris. In France, Tambay took pole but was subclassed by Lauda in the race, which was ahead of Tambay, of course, Mansell, Arnoux, De Angelis, and Rosberg. So far, it's been good for McLaren, but will it continue to be that way? After the French Grand Prix comes Monaco, where heavy rain suspends the race on lap 32 just before Senna could pass Polster Prost for the lead. Behind came the latter disqualified Tyrrell of Beloff, Arnoux, Rosberg, De Angelis, and Alboreto. Half points were awarded. In Canada, Piquet was back on top in his Brabham BMW, ahead of Prost, De Angelis, and Warwick on the first two rows. Nelson would eventually win by 2.5 seconds to second placed Lauda before collapsing of exhaustion and a burned right foot because of the heat. Behind the leading pair came championship leader Prost, De Angelis, Arnoux, and Mansell. Prost was leading teammate Lauda by 8.5 points in the drivers, whilst McLaren was some 31 points ahead of Ferrari in the constructors' title battle. Up next was Detroit, where Piquet once again took pole and then won from De Angelis, Piquet's teammate Theo Fabi, Prost, Lafitte, and the rest were disqualified or did not finish the exhaustion race. Up next was the new Dallas Grand Prix, where Lotus got a front row lockout, Mansell ahead of De Angelis. When Mansell's car stopped just before the finish line, he tried to push it but collapsed before he could do it. It was the middle of the Texas summer, and drivers were not happy, leaving the race as a one-off. Rosberg won from Arnoux, De Angelis, Lafitte, Ginzali, and Mansell. At Brands Hatch in Great Britain, Cecotto broke both legs after a crash during practice. Piquet was back on pole, but he would eventually finish 7th, as Lauda won from Warwick, Senna, De Angelis, Alboreto, and Arnoux. With Prost retiring, Lauda was 1.5 points only behind him in the Drivers' Championship. In Germany, Prost took the pole and held on to win by 3 seconds ahead of teammate Lauda, who was ahead of Warwick, Mansell, Tambay, and Arnoux. The 12th race of the season was the Austrian Grand Prix, and as Lauda was only 4.5 points behind Prost, the home crowd was cheering him on for a possible third driver's title. It was Piquet on pole, and after De Angelis had an oil leak, Prost slipped on it and crashed. He and Lauda were the main contenders, with the latter one winning at home. Behind them came Alboreto, Fabi, Boutsen, and Scherer. With that, Lauda took the championship lead with 4 races to go. At Zandvoort, Prost took pole and eventually would win in a McLaren 1-2 with Lauda. Third came Mansell, fourth came De Angelis, followed by Fabi and Tambay in the points. Lauda now only had a 1.5 point lead in the drivers, whilst McLaren TAG were constructors' champions. In Italy, Piquet was back on pole, but it would turn out to be Lauda winning from Alboreto, Patrese, Stefano Hansson, Garner, and Berger, with the latter two not being eligible for points. Lauda could be crowned champion at the European Grand Prix, held at the new Nürburgring Grand Prix Strecke, a normal circuit this time. Piquet was on the pole, but he would finish behind winner Prost and Alboreto, but ahead of Lauda, Arnoux, and Patrese. Coming into the final race of the season, Lauda was leading Prost by just 3.5 points. The last race was the Portuguese Grand Prix, returning for the first time since 1960. Held at Autodromo do Estoril, it saw Piquet once again take pole, with Prost 2nd and Lauda 11th. It was a battle between Prost and Mansell for the win, until Mansell's brakes failed, handing Lauda 2nd place and the title by the closest margin ever, 0.5 points to Prost. Behind came Senna, Alboreto, De Angelis, and Piquet. Lauda had achieved his 3rd title, whilst Prost had lost 3 out of the last 4 titles late in the season and was determined to finally win a world championship in 1985. Will he succeed? We'll find out next time, but until then, like, subscribe, and goodbye.